All right, guys, 26.3 miles, 2 hours, 56 minutes, average 6:42. So earlier today, I ran a 2:55 marathon during my training in the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 here. Now you can see it was wet, so I still have this paper bag inside here. And in 2022, I ran my first ever marathon, the Charlotte Marathon, in the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 here. So I wanted to do a marathon comparison of both of these two since I've gotten 26.2 miles in both of these guys now. And because I loved the Pro 3 so much, I actually got a second pair. So as you can probably tell, this is one of my favorite racing shoes. I named the Pro 3 my racing shoe of the year last year. I've always been more of a Vaporfly guy for the half marathon distance, but for getting up past that 90-minute mark and even for longer training runs, I really loved everything that the shoe gave. It's got that nice soft bouncy Power Run PB foam. The geometry is fast and aggressive, but not so aggressive that when you're getting to the end stages of a 20 miler or a marathon, feels like you can't turn over the legs. And also, if you look at the shoe, it is really simple, 40 millimeter stack. There's no weird tech going on with it. There's a nice rocker, lightweight upper, and the full length carbon fiber plate. They've kept most of that spirit in the Pro 4 here, but there are some changes like the Power Run HG foam and a little bit of a softer feel, which make this definitely a different shoe than the Pro 3. So in this video, I'm gonna dive into all of the changes in the Pro 4, all the key differences, and I'll also let you know which one of these will be best for you because they did change it enough that what you're getting in the Pro 4 might not be what you want. If you love the Pro 3, there might be some better options for you out there. And also if the Pro 3 didn't work for you in the past, Pro 4 might work for you now. So let's get into it. Okay, so first up, diving into the midsole of the Pro 3 and the Pro 4. So these both use that Power Run PB. You can see on the Pro 4, they made it nice and shiny, prominently displayed right on the forefoot here, Power Run PB. So this is a beaded PIBA compound. And so if you take a look at it in the Pro 4 here, you can see all these little beads. They're expanded as pellets in the manufacturing process, and this foam has a really nice soft bouncy feel. The foam itself seems to be pretty consistent across these two generations. What's up, guys? It is 9:23 Sunday night. I'm sitting in the hotel editing. I got a few questions today about the firmness of the Pro 3 versus the Pro 4. I don't actually have these shoes with me because we're on the road heading down to Port St. Lucie, but I did want to talk about two things, the firmness and the Power Run HG. So the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 in my hands, I did a little pinch test yesterday. And so what I did is, if you could see, so this morning what I did was I took both of these shoes and I pinched them right here. And the foam on the Pro 4 was a lot softer than the foam on the Pro 3. This Pro 3 has 300 miles, but I did it with the Pro 3 that only had 50 miles, which is about the same as the Pro 4. So the Pro 4, the Power on PB, is definitely tuned to be a little bit softer, and I don't think that we're seeing HG in the entirety of the midsole in the Pro 4. I think it's just in the sock liner, which would explain why you're not getting a hugely different ride experience, but you still got that pop out in the front and that softness. All right, guys, back to the video. But it also seems like they might have made some changes. I don't know if it's the new HG foam, because that's going to be the key difference in the Pro 4 here. It's got the HG foam, still got the full-length carbon fiber plate, but it seems like maybe they made some changes to what's going on in the forefoot. Now, they still are reporting an 8 millimeter drop across these two, but one thing that I've noticed is if... Just had a little technical mishap here. One thing I've noticed is if you take a look at the forefoot of both of these, first thing, Pro 3, the rocker here, looks a little bit more aggressive and feels a little bit more aggressive than what we're getting in the Pro 4. And it might just be a visual trick, but it seems like we're getting more foam farther up in the forefoot of the Pro 4, and that comes through in the ride experience. Pro 4 is a little bit softer and more forgiving than the Pro 3. Now, other key difference here is if you look out in the back, they have changed the way that the midsole foam is contoured. And so the Pro 3 was one of the most stable marathon racing shoes out there. It felt very planted at any pace, and it almost felt like a daily trainer at certain paces. Now, Pro 4 here, they've kept a similar width, but the main thing that they've done that's different is the contour of the foam. So if you look at the Pro 3 here on the left, the pink one, they have this foam wrap up a little bit on the sides. Pro 4 does it a touch, but instead of having the foam flare out fully on the base, they have it flare out in the middle and then taper down on the bottom and toward the top. This gives a really weird feeling in the back when you're standing, when you're walking, and at certain running paces where it feels like your foot isn't sitting, it's not encased in the foam, it's on top and wiggling a little bit. So that's a little bit of a quirk with the Pro 4 for sure. Pro 3, much more stable ride. Now, the Power Run HG is a new addition to the Pro 4, as we've discussed, and it is a super critical PIBA foam. And so I'm not sure how much of it you're getting. Saucony doesn't disclose that. It's not a ton, but it is enough to make the ride of this a little bit different, which we'll get to later. Now, heading up to the upper, this is my favorite change in the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. So you can see in the Pro 4 here, they've gone with this sock upper where the tongue is attached to the upper itself. And also in the Pro 3, I wasn't the biggest fan of the material here. So let's do the little ASMR running shoe test really quickly. So you can hear Pro 3 upper. Got a little bit of that scratch coming through, and this scaly material here, it's not the softest and it doesn't conform to your foot the most. It looks cool, it's shiny, it's bright. But the Pro 4, we got a little bit more of that soft giving stretch. Can't really tell in the ASMR test, but I much prefer the stretchiness of this Pro 4 right here. Now, in terms of the fit, both of these are very narrow. I'll see if I can splice in some B-roll, but you just got to trust me on this one. My foot was getting squeezed in like a sausage on both of these puppies, especially around the side here. Now you can see as I'm pressing in the upper though, the Pro 4 is a lot more flexible with the upper. Pro 3 is stiffer. You can even see on the toe cap here, the Pro 4 doesn't have as harsh of a toe cap. Pro 3 has a little bit more toe cap. So still a very narrow fit on the Pro 4, but you might get a little bit more give. Now for me, I still could feel on the left shoe, that area right here, right where the toe meets the foot, a little bit of that rubbing and irritation that the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 and Pro 3 gave me last summer. I still did feel that on the Pro 4, so that is something to note. Not going to be the best shoe for wider footed runners. Now let's look at the padding of both of these guys. They both have a decent amount of padding in the back here. Looks like visually, actually, Pro 3 might have a little bit more padding. Neither of these are super padded. Neither of these are also super minimal. You can see they both have the little bit of a flexible heel counter. As I'm touching them here, the Pro 4 seems a little bit more flexible than the Pro 3. And I also think that might be because if you look where the upper attaches to the foam, it seems that the Saucony... The shoe fell again. Where was I? Yes, where the upper attaches to the foam, you got more structure. It feels a little bit more plasticky. Here in the Pro 3, I do have to say I had no irritation or rubbing in the back here in the Pro 4 with my marathon time trial in it today. Was extremely comfortable, and that is something that you're going to be getting out of the Pro 4 here. Pro 3 was a comfortable shoe with the midsole foam experience, but they've taken everything to the next level in the Pro 4. This upper has got to be the best, at least I'm not sure about best because Vaporfly, Hyperion Elite, Alphafly, some of those shoes we have back there, even New Balance SC Elite, a lot of these other shoes have super lightweight uppers. This isn't the most lightweight upper. Let me actually go pull that Vaporfly so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so this is a racing shoe with a super lightweight upper. As you can see in here, there's holes all throughout the upper. It's a barely there fit. It feels like a piece of paper is on your foot. Now, that is not what they're going for in the Pro 4 here. There's much more material, but it also gives a really nice secure lockdown. There's no lace bite. They've gone with these nice, soft, stretchy laces. Again, this soft, stretchy tongue. Everything about this is a great experience. I just wish that they would widen out the toe box a little bit. Neither the Pro 3 nor the Pro 4 are going to be the best choice for you if you have wider feet, I do think the Pro 4 is going to give a little bit more stretch, but overall comfort goes to the Pro 4 here. And now getting into the ride experience, it's the same thing. Pro 4 is going to be that comfort oriented racer. Pro 3 is a little bit speedier. And now the complicating factor here is that the Saucony Endorphin Elite, which is also part of this Endorphin collection, uses that speed roll technology, has even a more aggressive rocker than the Pro 3 here. That shoe dropped after the Pro 3. And so with the Pro 4 coming as a 2024 shoe, Saucony's trying to find out what the place is in the market for the Endorphin Pro. Now that the Elite, you could pretend that the Vaporfly here is the Endorphin Elite. Now that the Elite is here, right? So if we're thinking about most aggressive to least aggressive in the Saucony racing lineup, it would look like this: Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, and then our pretend Saucony Endorphin Elite right here. So if you want something that is a super comfortable ride, very forgiving, that's going to be the Pro 4. If you want a little bit more aggression and pop, that's going to be the Pro 3. And then I have not run in the Endorphin Elite, as you can see, because I have the Vaporfly here, but that's going to be the most aggressive. So diving deeper into the ride of just the two Saucony shoes that we do have, what I loved about the Pro 3 was that because it had this Power Run PB foam in here, it had a nice, soft, forgiving feel at a lot of paces. But then when you pick up the pace, and for me, when I got down to marathon pace, half marathon pace, the forefoot really came alive. It has a nice snap in here, and it's not soft or squishy at all when you step on it. And so that's something that I look for in a shoe that I'm going to take faster than marathon pace. How does the forefoot specifically respond as I'm putting some power into the shoe? And a big issue I had with the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 and even the Speed 3 versus this was that those shoes with the plastic plates, unlike this with the carbon, didn't have enough bite. This had a lot of bite, a lot of aggression. The plate paired with the rocker, paired with this foam, made for a really nice experience at my racing and training paces. At my marathon pace, I was targeting a 6:50 marathon pace, ended up coming in around 3 teens, but throughout training felt awesome at those paces. Now, Pro 4, much different experience with this guy so far. So today, my marathon time trial, I averaged a 6:42 pace, and at no point did I feel that I was running fast, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. And in my long run review I did of the shoe today, I mentioned I picked the shoe specifically because I didn't want a shoe that was going to make me feel like I wanted to go fast and go all out. And so this was a smooth, steady, controlled shoe. The forefoot is really soft. Everything about the shoe is soft and comfortable. And when I did pick it up down to 6:30 pace, I think that's the fastest I went today, about 6:30. It still responded, and the pace change from a 7-minute to a 6:30 pace in this felt really good. It felt like it could handle all that effort, but it just feels a little bit more controlled than the Pro 3 here. The Pro 3 with the rocker, you get a little bit more of that natural pop from how curved it is here. With this guy, I'm getting a much softer sinking in feeling in the forefoot, and then I do get that pop, but it's just not that quick roll along that you get from the Pro 3. So if you want a little bit more of a relaxed, comfortable ride, that's what the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 is going to give. If you want a little bit more pop, you're going to be getting that out of the Pro 3. All right, guys, now heading down to the outsole, let's take a look at the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 first, because this guy has about 270 miles on it. And so you can see I've put some pretty good wear on this, but it's still going strong. At almost 300 miles, I can still get some use out of this. I'm also more of a heavy heel scuffer, so that's why we see that damage there. But there's nothing that would make the shoe unrunnable. The upper is still in really good shape. The midsole is still in really good shape. So this is a very durable shoe as well. And both of these guys are sitting at $225. They didn't increase the price in the new version. They also didn't drop the price yet in the old version, which is a little bit of a conundrum right now. It got some of us wondering, are they not confident in moving the Pro 4? But both of these are $225, and at that price, that is the lowest price for a mainstream marathon racer. So you got, let's see what we got back there. New Balance SC Elite, $250. Diadora Gara, $300. Tier Valkyrie Elite, $250, but $225 if you use the Supwell code. Alphafly, $285. Hoka Cielo X1, that is $275. And then Vaporfly there, that is 260. So this is a lot more affordable relative to all those other shoes, and the durability is really good. You get lots of rubber coverage both on the Pro 3 here and then also on the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. Now, one of the issues I had with the XT900 on the Pro 3 was it didn't feel that grippy, and even just feeling these in my hands, the Pro 3, and we'll see if I can get this on a test. Yeah, the Pro 3 just was not that grippy versus Pro 4. You can see I'm putting the same amount of force into these, and of course this has fewer miles, but I don't know if the grippiness of the rubber changes over time. But the Pro 4 is a really nice grippy rubber. Pro 3 didn't have it, so I took this for the marathon I did today. It was really wet out there. It was pouring rain, and this did an awesome job at keeping me controlled, keeping me grounded. Not as good as the Adidas, but not too far off from the Adidas and Puma. So good job on Saucony for adding this new pattern here. You get lots of coverage. And then in the back, this is actually one area I'm a little bit concerned with from durability standpoint, because they went with less foam than we get in the Pro 3, and it doesn't look like the layer is too thick here. So we will have to see how this goes over time. I will definitely be taking this to 100 miles. I now have 46 miles on it, I believe, almost 50 miles on this guy. So basically nowhere on the outsole after 50 miles. And so this is a race shoe, unlike the Vaporfly, where you're going to be getting tons of mileage out of it, both in the Pro 4 and in the Pro 3. And I do think because of the different rides, where Pro 4 is a little bit softer, more forgiving, Pro 4 is an awesome training shoe. And guys, there's a new that's actually not plated. There's a new Piba training shoe coming out that is $220. I'm not going to brand name shame which brand that's coming from, but this is only $5 more. And so do you want to go for that shoe or this shoe with a $5 difference? I think this shoe is probably going to beat it. I actually have that shoe sitting right over there in one of those boxes, and I haven't opened it because I don't know. I just want to wait till I can actually talk about it to run in it. So this is the same price as a plated or a speed training shoe that's coming out this year, because the speed training shoes keep getting more expensive. This is staying at $225. I gotta say, this is a really good buy. I'm impressed with the performance of this and the ability for it to be comfortable. It's the perfect blend for me of comfort and speed, which is what you want in a marathon racing shoe. And so after my run today, I'm thinking I might have to still recommend this as the best marathon shoe for recreational runners out there, because it performed great for a 255 effort. And I think for a lot of people out there, because it is more forgiving, it's going to be a good choice. Now, the downside of the Pro 4, again, is going to be that stability. And so that is something we look for in these marathon racers. How is the stability? And Pro 3's got to take the cake there. So a little bit better, more forgiving upper Pro 4. Stability goes into Pro 3. Comfort, Pro 4. Speed, Pro 3. Value, I gotta say Pro 4, because for most of your miles, if you get this shoe, you don't get it just to do a race PR. If you want a shoe just for a race PR, you get something like the Nike Vaporfly, which I can't 100% get in the shot without moving all the shoes. But trust me, guys, this is the Vaporfly. You probably know what it looks like. But if you want something that you can get a lot of mileage out of, if you want something that you can use to train and race, it's these guys. And Pro 4 is going to be much more comfortable for training. And every single mile that I've gotten out of the Pro 4 so far has been extremely fun and enjoyable. Again, not the fastest shoe, not the most aggressive shoe, but I don't mind that because it is so comfortable and it has that nice soft bounce that flips and floats you along. And that's the main thing I was getting out of the ride of this guy today. I was floating along at those 640 miles, 650 miles. And so if you are targeting that sub 3 hour marathon, you want something that you could train in, do your long runs in, as well as race in, and be comfortable in that shoe on race day, I think the Pro 4 is still a great pick. Pro 3 might give you a little bit extra juice, but I wouldn't want to lace this up as much during training. It's not as comfortable as the Pro 4. And so they've elevated the comfort a ton in the Pro 4. It's lost a little bit of its speed, but again, guys, we talk about trade-offs a lot. That's a trade-off I'm willing to take because Saucony knows I think they know their place in the market now with this guy. They're saying, we want that crown for comfort. New Balance has vacated the throne. They're now trying to be a speedier shoe. They're also going for that stability and wide option. We're going to be the most comfortable option for the recreational runners out there. And we're going to be a really good choice for a sub 3 performance. So if you want something comfortable that you can train in and race in, I highly recommend the Pro 4. Once the Pro 3 goes on sale, that's going to be an insane deal. And this is still a really good buy if you want something a little bit faster. There's now some other shoes that are competing with what the Pro 3 did, though. Again, like that SC Elite, like that Tier Valkyrie Carbon. So it's not the value proposition that it once was. I think what they're doing now with the new direction of the shoe, especially after racing in it or doing that marathon time trial in it today, I think it was a great choice for the brand. So most runners out there will be happy in either of these, but if you do want a little bit more of a comfortable experience, I recommend the Pro 4. If you want a little bit of a faster experience for an all-out PR and your main concern is racing and not training, I would go with the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. All right, guys. So please ask me any questions about these shoes in the comments. Like I said, I've raced a marathon in both of these guys, so happy to field any questions you might have. Really excited about the Pro 4 after today. We'll continue to recommend this guy. It was amazing for all 26.2 of those miles. I wasn't blown away by it after the first run, and I'm still not. It's still not giving me an experience like the Hoka Cielo X1 or the Diodora Gara. It's not that amazingly fast shoe, but really nice shoe to have on your feet for 3 hours. So as always, guys, I appreciate you watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.